Hey everybody, welcome into Talking Habs Saturday Night Hockey Talk. Lots to talk about considering there was the draft lottery yesterday. The big news, if you're a Habs fan, and I don't know, there's reason to be here if you're not a Habs fan, but most people here are going to be Habs fans. Big news for Habs, getting a shot at Lafreniere. John Weichel, how's it going? I hope I pronounced that right. Welcome in, buddy. Thanks for coming in. So we're going to talk about whatever you guys want. Owen York, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for coming in. I imagine we're going to mostly want to talk about the draft lottery. Nicholas Beijing, hey, how's it going? Lee Max, how's it going? Lee Max, fellow member. Lee Max is the cornerstone member of of the Talking Habs membership community. He was the first member, and right up behind him there, NHL Hockey News reports is number 2 for the cornerstone members. Hey guys, how's it going? MJ, how's it going? Ryan, how's it going? But guys, great to have you all in here. That's a lot of people in right away to start. That's awesome. So I'm gonna leave it up to you. What do you guys want me to talk about? I imagine it's gonna be JFed. I imagine it's going to be losing to Pittsburgh. You're damn right, JFed. It doesn't seem to be so bad. At least, listen, I wouldn't have thought this was going to happen. Let me put it this way. Considering I have a channel, mock drafts are really fun to do, and they do really good for the channel. I was wanting to do a mock draft. This kind of puts a damper on it because can't do a really accurate one until we know who's going to have that pick. Although, considering that, it doesn't really matter who gets the pick because they're all going to pick Lafreniere. So from that point of view, I don't see anybody having first pick and not taking Lafreniere. Some players do not want to come back and play. Yes, some players do not. Listen, Carey Price is basically a guy. He sort of wants to come back to play, but there's things that have to be figured out first. So it's a possibility, I guess, Price doesn't play, but I don't think he'll do that. Yes, Owen, I got that news about 30 minutes before the live stream last night. And I talked about it on the live stream last night that I was busy today, so I haven't had a chance. I'm going to put it in my next news of the day, but I'll talk about it here. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, KK, is on his way back to Canada. He will be ready for the Phase 3, should that take place, and he will be ready for the play-in round, should that take place. So, KK answers that question, what do we do when Domi doesn't play? And Domi, I don't expect him to play, but KK probably will fill that hole, which is, how will I put it? Based on his past play, doesn't make it better, but we don't know how he's going to be when he comes back. He may be that much better than he was. You never know how a young guy like that's going to react. So Montreal, even with Domi, even maybe having KK, I don't think they can beat Pittsburgh. I don't. The key is really going to be Carey Price. It really is. And I see a lot of people on Twitter today say, bring Keith Kincaid back to play. Bring Keith Kincaid. Do I think they may cancel the playoffs because the pandemic in the USA is just crazy? Yes, I actually do. I think that not just because it's crazy in the USA, I also think elevated rates are going to be seen here in Canada come soon because of, from what I see, people just think it's over and it's not. And I think we're going to have somewhat elevated rates as well. I think that it's proved that it might be hard to keep them from getting it anyway. And I have a feeling that it's a possibility that players might even vote and say no if they don't want to play. If that's the case, then there's no games that way as well. Thoughts on the draft? I was watching your stream, but had to leave early and didn't see your reaction. Oh, you didn't get to see? Okay. My thoughts are, well, first of all, anybody who went into watching that or thinking that Montreal would walk away with first overall pick yesterday, because a lot of people on Twitter and all over the place saying, yeah, Montreal's going to get first pick. They weren't. They weren't going to walk away with first pick no matter what happened because, and it turns out I heard it was the Team E. So it wasn't Montreal's Team A. It was Team E, which should have been Winnipeg. So it's that slot they got it. But it doesn't matter whose slot got it. Now we got to wait for the phase 2. They're gonna repick that for the 8 teams that lose in the qualifying round, and so we don't know. But Montreal's got a 12.5% chance, like everybody else. And if you're a person who believes in destiny, this might be a destiny thing because he's a Quebec-born player. Montreal should have had the draft here in Montreal, and because of all this, it got canceled. So it's like destiny if we would get that first pick, get Lafreniere. As far as the team that deserves it, if you watch the hockey guy said what team he would like to see get it. He went through all the teams. He did a video, and number one team that he would like to see get the first pick is Montreal. And this is from a guy who does not really like Montreal, although he said he's weakening. He's starting to like Montreal more and more all the time. But he thinks Montreal, of all the teams, he'd like to see them get it more than any other team, but there's other teams that he thinks deserve it as well. Yeah, I'm babbling there. I don't know. I couldn't say that properly. So, yeah, I mean, it's destiny. I don't know. Listen, we're either going to get that pick or we're going to get 9th pick. We're going to be either hugely happy or hugely disappointed. But the point is we're in the game still, and I think that's great. Okay, I'm going to just scroll up for this one thing because I saw someone say something and I want to comment on it. Hang on, I'm looking for something. I must have misread something there, or just it's already passed. Okay. I'll say this also. There seems to be a lot. They're going by quick. If I missed your comment, you're going to have to retype it till I see it, or you can take a super chat that helps support the channel, and there's less than 99 cents, and that highlights it, and I can't miss it. So you can do either way. But I'm going to try not to scroll. Big Baller Faggot. Okay, I'm not big on your name, the last part of your name. Some people will find that very offensive, but hello from Canada. Who is Winnipeg playing? It doesn't really matter who Winnipeg's playing because they're not going to get that pick necessarily. It's going to go through a phase 2. There's another draw, and any one of the 8 teams that do not win in the qualifying round could get that pick. So it really doesn't matter who's winning. Winnipeg, though, is playing Calgary. The draft will be after all the playing's done. So they're saying if they can get started July 30th, that the very last game should be played October 5th if the series all goes 7 games, or if in each round, there's a series that goes 7 games. So it'll be sometime after that, I would think, probably near the end of October. Detroit should got first pick overall. Well, it's not just it's not an automatic. It's not. And a lot of times, and listen, you know what? If you want to go back and look at a lot of drafts where the team that was the worst one should have had first pick overall got bumped down to 4th and ended up with one of the best players in the draft. So, but in Detroit's case, Steve Yzerman, although back then I don't know, I think they did I don't know when he was drafted. I don't know if they did the lottery, but Yzerman was a 4th round draft, 4th overall pick. So, at 4th overall, you're still getting a damn good player. But in this case, okay, you're not getting Lafreniere. I get that, but there's still some good players. There's going to be good players in the other rounds too. There's going to be a gem somewhere deeper into the draft. There always is. So it's not easy just to say that that Detroit should have got that first pick. I wonder if any teams are considering just losing the qualifying round on purpose. Yeah, but it doesn't guarantee you anything, so I doubt it. I really doubt the teams are going to try to tank. I don't think any team is tanking. Edmonton's going to win the draft, and it'll be awesome. Yeah, Edmonton could. Hey, my ex-wife is out there. Hey, Lou, how's it going? Thanks for joining the live stream. Detroit should have got first. Or you said that again. Did you see KK put on a lot of muscle? He is very big right now. He's getting bigger. He's looking great. He's got a little bit to do, work to do on his legs, from what I heard. But it's good news that he's on his way back to Montreal, and he's actually going to be taking part of anything that's going to be happening. So it's quite good to hear that. I don't know NHL hockey news. I don't know why they keep hiding your. Whoops. They keep hiding your comments. Where was I now? Whoops. I scrolled too far. Hey, Rick, I am at almost at 10,000 views with 105 likes, almost at 10,009 views from my highlights of Kovalchuk with the Habs. Go check it out if you have not already. Much appreciated. Hey, everybody, go check out NHL Hockey News' highlights of Ilya Kovalchuk. And I'm not sure if I'm reading it right, but awesome, getting the views. I'm almost at 200,000, so I'm almost at 200,000. I don't know exactly, but I'm somewhere around there. No lottery when Yzerman was picked. Yeah, I didn't think so, but he was the 4th overall pick. So, you know, there's a lot of good players that are going to come after Lafreniere. And especially in this draft, I think, you know, and there's going to be guys that are picked in the first 10 that they're going to be 1 or 2 that just aren't going to be what we thought. It's natural. That's how it's going to be. Kokanyemi, part of the bicep club now. Well, listen, you know, he was 18 when he got here. Yeah, I hope he puts on a lot more weight. I think he's got to put about another 20 pounds on. If he can get up to, I'd like to see him somewhere around 215. If he can get into that ballpark, he's going to be physically very strong, and yeah, it's going to only bode well for him. Okay, why is everything in blue? Oh, there we go. No, I don't want to pin the message. What happens if players get virus? Well, this is a big question, and this is the reason why Vancouver got knocked out of the running for the hub city, because apparently Vancouver didn't want to write this out, like write off, what's the word I'm looking for? They didn't want to allow this. Apparently, the NHL wants any player that tests positive for COVID that is still asymptomatic. So that means they're not displaying any symptoms, they're not feeling any symptoms, but they're testing positive. They want them still to be able to be on the ice playing. Apparently, BC Health Minister said no. And that was the reason why Vancouver was out of the running. If this is the case, this is not going to be good. So it means it's not going to be good. So I don't remember the question now, but that's my answer. Lafreniere would be amazing with a goal scorer like Caulfield. Yeah, imagine him on that first line. Suzuki with Lafreniere and Caulfield on his wings. Wow. I mean, it could be awesome, because don't forget, Lafreniere is a left winger, I do believe. Do I think the Habs will do much in free agency? You know what? That's a good question, but I don't know how much. There's not a lot of good free agents out there. That's number one. I think they really need to get a defenseman if they can that way, if they haven't gotten one any other way. But I think free agency is not going to be as active because of the flattened cap. The fact that the cap is going to stay flat like that, I don't think free agents are going to have a great year. So what I kind of expect, RFAs and free agents, I think you're going to see them sign very short-term contracts at lower numbers, and then they'll be free agents again. You know, I figure 2 years, because the cap should start rising in 2 years. That's what they're saying. They're looking at it staying flat at 81.5 for the next 2 seasons, and then maybe going up $1 million on the third season, and by that time, the new TV contract that they hopefully will sign that will be very lucrative will start to kick in and allowing the cap to go up. And I saw something, and it's going to be in my news of the day, next one. And I don't know how. Well, actually, I think it's here. I'm going to see. It was interesting about how the cap is going to go up. If I can find it really quickly without like taking too long, that's what really quickly means. Okay, it was saying something about how the way the cap is going to rise or stay. It's not going to be tied to the revenues for a few seasons till they start to recoup some of the losses that they've made. I couldn't find the article. Well, I have where I think it is, but I just couldn't find that. So yeah, they're talking about how that the salary cap isn't going to reflect revenues, and something to do with escrow and some complicated stuff. Anyway, it's going to be in the news of the day tomorrow. Let me get back to. So once again, I missed a lot of comments. Hey, Jeff, Fedge is here with under goalie girls rule. I like that. That suits you, buddy. Just joking. Just to remind everybody that I'm missing a lot of comments. Just retype them, or like I said, take a super chat, and I'll definitely see that. I'm going to answer Jeff's because he honored me by showing up this time. It's bugging you, Jeff. What happens if the season doesn't restart? Who gets the first pick? Well, apparently they're going to redo the whole. Remember 2005? And I'm not remembering why. Was 2005 a total lockout? Was that when the whole season was lost? I think so. They're going to do something like that. And it's funny because the hockey guy was talking about it in the video I just watched, this last one that I just watched. And he said if you didn't like the way this draft lottery went and you're not happy, if they have to do like they did in 2005, man, people are really not going to be happy. Yeah, they're going to have to do where everybody is in, all 31 teams are in the draw, are in the race, and just, different odds, different percentages. But that's what they're going to have to do, because if they haven't finished the season, then there's no really worse team. There's no teams that make the playoffs. They all have to be in the draw, I think. So that's something that they're going to have to face if it comes to that. But it's a really good question, and it would definitely mean to do something different. So whatever they did with the draft lottery last night is going to be redone if they don't restart the season. Are the hub cities announced yet? No, the hub cities hopefully will be announced by, I'm going to say, by the 1st. They were supposed to announce it, they were saying yesterday, and now they're saying another 2-3 days, 4 days. I figure by the 1st. Vegas, Joe, is looking to be as much of a lock as they can be in the States, and it's starting to really. And now I said this, I didn't know all the stuff is going to go on, but when I heard Toronto, I said Toronto's going to get Canada's hub. That was a couple of weeks ago, and this is really looking like it's going to be Toronto, because just because it's Toronto. So who's going to get the Canadian hub? Oh, Toronto? I mean, isn't that how it works in Canada? I think, right? But it's looking like that. It's really tight between Edmonton and Toronto, but yeah. Just put in Kovalchuk highlights for Habs. Third one down. It's awesome. Okay, I'm telling you, I'm having trouble deciphering you. I'm not getting what that means. Just put in Kovalchuk highlights for Habs. Third one down. It's awesome. Oh, maybe in the list down there? I'll check it out after the live stream. Players will say no to play. It's a good possibility, John. They're going to vote. I would think they're going to have a vote sometime in the next week. I would have to think. What they're also waiting to vote on is they're renegotiating some of the CBA. They're going to try to extend it for a few years, and they're trying to add stuff about the escrow. There's a few things they're working on with the CBA, and apparently they want the players to vote on both items, and they will not be playing any games unless there's an agreement on the CBA as well. So, yeah. They could say no to they could say no. Leafs win the pick because it's 2020. You know what? I saw somebody say that the Leafs won't get the shot at it because they usually don't have trouble in 5-game series. They have trouble when it's a 7-game series. So if that's the case, they should beat Columbus. Although honestly, if I'm the Leafs, I wouldn't be convinced I'm going to beat Columbus. Have I been to a QMJHL game before? But yes, I have, but not for a long time. The last QMJHL game I went to was, and I went specifically to see Pat LaFontaine here for the Verdun Juniors. That's a long time ago. Julian Plenty. Good. That makes me think of Good and Plenty. Don't know why, Julian, but it does. Lafreniere, Suzuki, Caulfield. Yeah, you got to figure if we get Lafreniere, that's going to be the line of the future, you'd think, you know. And look, I really think Nick Suzuki is the #1 center of the future. I kind of see it now, whereas before Suzuki arrived, I was pretty sure it would be KK, but I'm not so sure. I think KK maybe seems more like the second line guy. So I see Suzuki, KK, and yeah, Lafreniere and Caulfield being dished to from Suzuki sounds like a mighty fine line. Carey might not play for us. I'm thinking Caden will step in. Primo and McNiven might be our tandem for the playoffs. McNiven's been practicing with the team this whole time in Brossard. Yeah, that I know. Carey might not play, because he's really, if he doesn't get the right answers about safety and the escrow, I know escrow is a big issue for these guys. He's already said he's not comfortable voting right now. And he does seem to want to play, but under the right conditions. So I kind of think you may be right that it's a possibility Carey Price might not play. The only thing is, if he doesn't play, there's no one that's not a Habs fan that isn't going to say the Habs are tanking and not letting Carey Price play, right? So I'm calling it right now. If Price does happen to step out and say he's not playing, everybody except the Habs fans in the hockey world are going to say that the Habs are tanking. But it's legitimate. I mean, he has concerns, and he's already stated that he's not comfortable in voting right now. I think Primo will be his backup. I think McNiven practicing with the team because he was in Brossard, he was in Montreal already. I don't think it means that much, but they are allowed to carry unlimited goalies. I think they'll have all their goalies that could possibly step in and play will be with the team. MJ, I heard players don't want Edmonton because of the accommodations. I hadn't heard that, so I guess it's a possibility, but I don't think this is anything to do with the players. It's between the NHL. It's the NHL that's picking the hubs. It's not the players. So I don't think that's got something to do with it. It still may, but if it does, I don't think it has any. I don't think it can have anything to do with the players. It is the league that's picking the hub cities, and the league really wants to. What's the word I'm really looking for? They seem to not really care that much about player safety in the long run. And although Alberta Health Minister and government and Ontario Health Minister and government have apparently already signed off that they're in agreement to have this happen in those cities. I don't know and if that means more than what it sounds like. I think Toronto, because I think Toronto might actually have the better setup for them at the CN, where the CN Tower is. They're going to have basically an Olympic Village kind of setup for them. So it'll be everything in one big area, and they don't have to go anywhere other than that and to the rink. And I don't see why that wouldn't really be good. So in saying what I just said earlier about it, of course, it's going to be Toronto, but Toronto actually might have the better setup. You should get the NHL 100 Classic Habs jersey from 2017 against Sens. I have both. Love them a lot. Yeah, I'm going to get some jerseys one of these days. One of these days. Not good. Channel does well enough. Or if my settlement money ever comes in, then yeah. Thoughts on the Laval Rocket? The Laval Rocket are going to look a lot better in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, as Montreal's good draft picks of the last few seasons, as they come through, they are going to make that team a lot better. I love the coaching there, and I think it's going to be a great team going forward. Remember, that was a team that was really, I don't know why they just sort of put players down there just to kind of rot in a way, because they didn't really develop anybody under the former coach. And it would take a couple of seasons, and that's natural for that new coach to start getting guys through the pipeline, and it's starting to happen. So I really think that that team's going to look really good. No hub city should be in the States for a lot of reasons. I don't disagree with that. And I said it in a video. I don't know if you watch all my videos. I don't assume people do. But I did say that in the video. One of the news of the days, I'm pretty sure that, yeah, I think that considering what's happening in the States, we might see maybe Edmonton and both Toronto get hub cities, and they'll do it here, which would work in a way. I'm sorry, my nose is itchy. You got a cat hair or something stuck there. It would work because you have East-West Conference, so you'd have an East-West hub, and you just switch them over so that you wouldn't have any perceived home ice advantage. So you'd have the Western Conference playing in Toronto, Eastern Conference playing in Edmonton. So, and I still think they're going to do that. They're going to switch. So in Vegas, the Western Conference will not play at Vegas. It would be the Eastern Conference. I think that's how it's going to work. What happened if Austin Matthews doesn't play? Well, Toronto loses anyway. I don't know. Look, he is probably going to be fine by the time this takes place. If he doesn't get very sick, because a lot of the athletes will have it and they don't get sick hardly at all, then he'll be fine to play. So I think he'll play. If he chooses not to, well, I think a lot of players through the league may choose that, and we won't find out really till maybe training camps when we see who's going to show up for the training camps. So we won't really know. But yeah, it's a possibility. My studio setup is looking better lately. Yeah, thanks. I added the extra whiteboard. I changed up a little bit around it because of the extra whiteboard being added, but that's really what it is. But I like changing things up every now and then. If Price doesn't play, then it's time to trade him. Yeah, that's from Fedge. That's from Jeff. Jeff will trade anybody for the right trade. Anybody. There's not a player, I think, that is untouchable for Jeff. From Nicholas, Toronto is worst in case compared to Edmonton. Yes, this is true. But, if you look at the difference between the U.S. and what's going on there, and the cases that are happening here in Canada, even with Ontario probably being the worst place in Canada, it's still not bad at all. So, yeah, I don't think it's I don't think that's going to even be a factor here for the Canadian cities. You need a barber pole jersey. I think that is the most disgusting. I hate that one. No way I would ever own one of those. I don't know. I saw some people on Twitter saying they like it, and maybe Jeff, you like it. I don't know. I really don't like that one. That one and the blue one with the white stripe here, like it kind of looks like the old Chargers uniform, sort of. And they got that weird C. I don't like that one either. And then there's that logo where it's the world or something. There's a few of them I don't like at all. Somebody said it perfectly, and I don't know if it was the hockey guy or somebody else, but when Montreal designed that logo, the CH, when they got it right, took a couple of seasons and they got it right, it was like, you know what? That's perfection. We don't need to do anything else with it. As far as third jerseys, I hope they don't redesign the logo, and I doubt they would. But I saw, and I think this is a private guy, did a jersey design in black. So it was basically black with everything else the same. I don't know if you use blue at all, but with the stripes and the thing and the logo. And you know what? I really like that. I've seen it in blue, and I like it in blue. The only thing I don't like about it is it's kind of Toronto Maple Leaf blue, but it still looks sharp. But in black, it's really hot. I really think that might be the way to go, is give us the third jersey be a black one. And then, because I've never been the biggest guy for the red jersey for at home. I grew up, most of my growing up years, they wore white at home. Most of the games I saw were home games. And for me, it's just become, that's the jersey. But this black one is really sharp, and I could see going with that. Wolverine, hey, how's it going, buddy? No, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about you? Hope you're still feeling good. Hope your parents are still doing good. JFed, has Domi spoke out about playing or no? I have not heard anything about it. I think he's taking a serious thought. I mean, he's got to seriously be thinking about it, but I can't see him playing. I think I can't see him playing. George Sessford, hey, how's it going, buddy? I said before that we would win in 2 phases. Well, for us to win, we would have had to have. I now have a 12.5% chance of you admitting that I was right. Well, no, listen, you were right, because they could not win in phase 1. There was no way. A lot of people were saying, I said this just before, a lot of people were saying, it was all over Twitter, I saw it in comments, Montreal's going to get the first pick. They weren't going to get the first pick no matter what. They weren't going to get the first pick last night. It wasn't happening, because they can't. They can only get the first pick after phase 2. So this is a possibility. So I'll say it even right now. Yes, 100%. You were right, because that's the only way they were able to do it. Did I watch 24CH when they had it? I've seen episodes. I never saw a whole season, but I saw episodes. I used to download it and watch it that way. Jeff, I own love and wear my barber pole all the time. Yeah, I thought I'd seen you comment that you liked that one. No, I don't like that one. I really don't like that one. But yeah, whites. That to me, that's the jersey. And oddly, the 2 jerseys that I own right now are reds, but I got them from somebody, and it was my ex-wife that I got them from. She had these 2 jerseys, and when I started the channel, I say she gave them to me. I mean, I say that she gave them to me, but I kind of confiscated them, you might say. I don't know. Lou, if you're still here, did you give me those sweaters, or did I just sort of just take them? Because I think I just took them. Okay, sorry, I was trying to figure where I was. If Montreal makes a 3rd jersey, they should bring back the old white jersey. Essentially red home, but white. It would be good if they bring that back as a 3rd. But it's not different enough than their actual jerseys. I don't know if that's what, that they kind of tend to go that way, where they don't really mess with much. And I think it's time for a shake-up, but not a shake-up. So you don't touch the logo. You don't touch the basic look of it, except in the color. And that's really what it is. And you should, I don't know how you would find it on Twitter. That's where I saw it. It was somebody who does artwork, and it was on Twitter. And I thought it looked really good. That's where I would go towards. And yeah, but I don't think they're going to mess with too much. They don't like to really change. It's such a traditional uniform. And really, they got perfection when they designed it. They don't need to go anywhere else. But yeah, in black is really kind of sharp, and I think it's a nice change. What happened if Mitch Marner doesn't play? Well, same like if anybody on the team doesn't play, buddy. You might have more than one of your players not play. But if he doesn't play, there's nothing. They're allowed to opt out. They're allowed to say, I don't think it's safe enough, I'm not playing. They are allowed. Oh, somebody said hello, and I wanted to say who that was. Right? Joe, are you still in there? You see where it says Talking Habs? Hello, everyone. Can you throw him out of here, please? If not, I'll do it. But if you're still here, Joe, somebody impersonating me, he's done this to me before. It's just a pain in the ass. I don't want to deal with the guy. Price can't walk away from a cup chance after all his comments the last 3 years. I don't think he will. I mean, I don't see him walking away. Why would he walk away? But he's got He has reservations about it. I know that. He's said it. He has reservations about it. So I don't know. I don't think he'll walk away, though. I don't think he would do that to the rest of the team. And he would, he'll play. He'll definitely play and do his best. I mean, without a doubt. What trade do to not like at all from? What trade do I not like at all from Bergevin except Drouin trade? You see, trade-wise, he hasn't done too badly. I can't think of a bad trade. Bad signing in Alsner. Oh, trade. What has he done bad? The other trade that a lot of people want to say they don't like is the Weber or Subban. I'm not going to say that was a bad trade. So I'd have to really think about that. I can't think of anything off the top of my head because I like most of Bergevin's trades. They usually work out to the good. Lee Mack said, okay, that's not scroll back down. The white Winter Classic jersey from 2 years ago is the best jersey they had in years. I can't recall it offhand. I sort of do, but I'd have to see it to kind of remember. What are your thoughts on the Globe Habs? No, no. That was a mistake. Somebody was very high, too drunk. I don't know. That was just. I know it was because it was the World's Fair that was going on. I do believe that's why they did that. But it was that's really ugly. No, listen, and I don't want to insult you, Wolverine, but I think that's just really ugly. You might like it, and that's fine. Like, of course, tastes are tastes, right? But no, I really didn't like that at all. What's the best trade Bergevin made? I think it's the Weiss and Fleischmann for Deneau, second round, which became Romanov. Well, he's got a few that I guess you could look. The Pacioretty for Tatar and Nick Suzuki, damn good one. Domi and Galchenyuk is a damn good one. He's made some really good trades. When is the Markov video coming? And the shout out. Yeah, I know. I apologize for the shout out, and I had it written to do the shout out. So the shout out I'm going to say should be in tomorrow's video, and the Markov one. By the way, that Markov video is of doing the NHL career of Andrei Markov, but the members are going to get it for a week to preview it before you guys do, and that's what he's talking about. That I'm going to do. What are we today? Sunday, Monday. I figure by Tuesday you should have that one. By Tuesday. It's next up. I know I'm running late. I ran a day late with the Jeff Hackett, so sorry. I do apologize, but it'll get done. I promise you. I definitely promise you that. Yeah, Markov, and like I said, the members are going to get that a little bit for themselves to play with, I guess, and then I'm going to put it out onto the main channel. Felix Dandria, how's it going, buddy? Remember that 2017 Centennial Habs jersey they used against Ottawa? I think that jersey is underrated and beautiful. Even the hockey guys said they should have used that jersey. No, I don't really remember that. No, I'd have to see that one as well. Yeah, Markov was a great player. He really was, and it's controversial how he was offered a contract. He didn't want to take it. It's hard to say, is that his fault or the team's fault for not offering him a little bit better deal, considering the time he'd spent here and everything. So, you can go either way. But yeah, Markov is a great player, and a great player for Montreal. And hopefully I'll do a good video on him. Do I think the Sens are in the playoffs next year? Going into the draft, I would have said yes. And it's not to say no, but they came out pretty. I said they got screwed. I mean, they got screwed a bit too. Yeah, they got the third, so they got a third. But the other one to drop back to fifth. So I just think they got a bit screwed, but I really think Detroit got screwed the most, but it's not unusual. They had apparently Detroit had a 50% chance to be picking fourth, and that's where they ended up. Yeah, I think if Ottawa picks very smartly, that they could be in the contending for the playoffs. Let me put it that way, at least. I don't know if I want to go all the way and say playoffs, but they will within the next couple of seasons. They could really turn their team around with this draft. Did they decide where the games will be held? I'm not following really. No, not yet. They have not announced the hub cities yet. I would expect, I was saying, I would expect that to come maybe around Tuesday. By Tuesday anyway. They said yesterday, they said 3-4 days. They were expecting that to happen, but you never know. But they're going to have to soon because they've got to start tying up these loose ends. Not having Radulov, Markov, and Weber to injury, and Price was horrible. Was crash and burn season for the Habs in 2017-18. A season to be forgotten for sure. Yeah, it was. That was a really bad season. As a video idea, I think you should do scouting reports on a lot of prospects for the Habs. Yeah, I wish I was able to. I really do. I wish I was able to do a scouting report. I'm not able to do a scouting report. And I wouldn't pretend to be, because the video would come across probably really bad, and I'd come across probably really dumb. And no, I'd rather rely on other people who know how to scout, because I don't really know how to scout. I don't know what to look for. Being a scout is not an easy thing. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know what to look for. I don't really, and no. I mean, I appreciate that you might think I'd be able to do that, but no, honestly, I couldn't do that. But when I do my prospect videos, what I do is I read a few scouting reports, and I put together stuff that they said, and I'll tell you straight up in the video that it's from scouting reports, and not me saying that. Funtime Flygon, are you still mad at me? I don't know. Last comment I saw, you were mad at me. NHL set to win and in series from the standings when season stopped. So out of the 16 involved, Pittsburgh was the best non-bye team, and Habs last at 16th. However, Habs lose, then they get saying 12.5%. Not fair. Yep. No, that's true. But I mean, look, I think the worst case scenario happened for the NHL with this draft lottery last night, in that one of the slotted teams got the first pick. So I don't think like if you're saying the NHL is they rigged these things. Well, if they rigged that, I don't think they'd have done that. I don't think they would have given any picks to any of the teams with the lettered slotted teams. Excuse me. So I don't know. I don't see a conspiracy. I think no matter how they did it, there's going to be players or teams, not players, teams and fan bases that are not going to be happy. And wait, this is not 100%, because if they don't play any games, they're going to have to redo all this, because they'll have to include all the teams in the league. So, and then even more people will say this was horrible and not fair. Will Detroit make the playoffs next year? No. Wolverine. Bergevin traded Sergachev, and lost Emelin in the expansion draft, and had to sign Markov to fill that defense. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. Listen, part of that is on Markov too. He was offered a contract. He could have stayed. He could have. Maybe he felt disrespected. I get that, and he wanted another year, not just one. He wanted two, but he could have stayed as well. Who would be better into good opinions? Who would be better? Okay, you got to read. Who would be better into its opinion, Struble or Norlinder in the future? I'll just say, who do you think, in my opinion, would be better in the future, Struble or Norlinder. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Norlinder, only from what I have a feeling Norlinder is going to be one of those guys that is going to surprise that how good he's going to be. Now, that's not to say Strubal's not going to be good and anything like that. I'm not putting Strubel down in any way. I'm just saying I have this feeling about Norlinder. He's going to be a lot better than a lot of people think. So does the guy pumping gas or working at the grocery store? Hard to have sympathy for millionaires being forced back to work, especially when they will have the best of everything to do their job. No, listen, from that standpoint, you're 100% right. For them, they just have the privilege of being able to vote on it and to determine whether they want to or not. So, they have that privilege. And yeah, if they did it, they would be back at playing it. It wouldn't be an issue. But yeah, you're 100% right as far as that goes. Yeah. But you have to admit, and I think if you're going to equate that to like somebody works in a grocery store, a guy like Domi or players like that who do have health issues straight off the bat, you can't say the same thing. You should allow them to be able to opt out. And I do believe that by opting out of your job because it's too dangerous did not cut you off from the CERB. So, so it's kind of the same. So I would think for players like that, I definitely think they definitely deserve the right to say yes or no. For the other players, yeah, you can. I wouldn't argue against what you're saying. If this was a regular season and the lottery happened, was that Montreal's pick that got first last night? No, I was actually saying it earlier. I just found this out actually just before the live stream. It was Winnipeg's pick letter E. So slot E is the pick that got the first lottery win, but it doesn't matter. It makes no difference because it's still going to go to phase 2. So, but it was slot E. Will Buffalo Sabres make the playoffs next year? No, John, they will not. Well, Sabres, you know what? I guess depends. It depends on what they do in the next few months. If they really make some big moves and do some good things, yeah. If not, no. Sixty, how's it going, buddy? Everything's good. It's been a good day. How about you? Also, everyone forgets, but the Pacioretty trade for Suzuki to Tar, the third-round pick, turned out to be Norlinder. There you go. So if I'm right and Norlinder turns out to be something else, that could be the best trade that he makes overall in the long run. Montreal had a good trade for the Pacioretty one. That's the one I usually call on. And I said, when he asked me, that's what I said. I thought that was pretty good. I'm only talking about players without health issues. Yeah. Well, then you're right. I mean, you're right. They make a lot of money. Part of the reason they make a lot of money is because they take risks to play hockey. So yeah, you're 100% right. Do I think that Montreal can get the first round pick first off? Well, yeah. I mean, they have just as much chance as everybody else. Everybody gets 12.5% chance to get that pick. So yeah, so the question would be, do I think it's Montreal's destiny? And that's hard to say. I hope it's Montreal's destiny to get that pick. Awesome, 6-9. Glad you're doing good. Glad. I'm always glad when you guys are doing good, especially this time with everything going on. If Covey shows his gratitude for going to a contender by coming back for 2 seasons, then that rates as a great deal by MB. I think Covey brings more to the table than what he's going to bring on the ice. And by this, I mean, he's got a lot of experience. He's a great mentor because the guys really look up to him. Now, if you want to look at his time here, his last 9 games, he didn't really do that much, really. It was the first bunch, probably, I don't know how many overall he played, but it was those first bunch of games. And in his last 7 to 9 games, he didn't do that much. So, do I want to see him come back? I've said it from day one, depending on the contract. If it's a if the money is really good for Montreal, and the term, yeah, I don't see anything because he'd be good in the room, and there's a lot of good things, and he can do some good things. But Covey kind of really needs to play on a top 6 role. If he's not going to play in a top 6 role, he doesn't really produce. So you got to look at it realistically. So as much as I really wanted him to come back, when you're looking at it and analyzing it, he didn't really do that good the last bunch of games. And I don't know. I don't know if he, unless it's really good money and for a season, I don't see him coming back. Although they said they're going to definitely have him back. So, but he is good in the room, and the players really do look up to him. He's got a lot of experience. He knows the game. All those things are really good. So I like him for that. But if it's for performance, no, I don't think he comes here and he produces a ton of points. But he could still be a solid player here. I'm a little tired tonight. I think we're just going to go for the 1 hour. So we're going to go another 10 minutes. I'm tired today. Ray, it's enough now. That's just somebody talking outside. NHL. Hey, buddy. See you later. 250 sub special video. All right. Good luck with that one. I'm going to definitely check that one out. And enjoy your week. We'll see you members live stream. I'll put up a members only post in community for that. Probably Wednesday again at 8 o'clock. Will Max Domi play in the playoffs of 2020? No. I say no. Their last first overall pick was 1984. First overall, yeah. I mean, it's been forever since we've had a first overall. I'd rather spend that money. You wrote send. So I thought it was send. You'd rather spend that money on a. Well, no, we're talking about, I guess, Kovalev, right? Listen, there's a lot of things you can spend the money on, especially if you hear he seems to want $3.5 million or so. I don't know. That might be too much. When I was talking about the right money, I'm talking about maybe I'd like to see maybe no more than $2.5 million. If I'm comfortable having Kovalchuk here, I'm looking at $2.5 million, and hopefully just for one season. But I doubt he'd want that. He probably wants 2 seasons, and from what we hear, $3.5 to $5 million, and that's way too much money. I'd rather spend that money on a good backup that can win 15 games, 100%. And well, you saw my. What did you think of that video that I did about that? That wasn't necessary to have Matt Murray, but how it's important. That extra couple of wins that a good backup gives you, as opposed to an average backup. Maybe we make the playoffs last season instead of missing by 2 points. And it's a small thing like that. So yeah, we need a backup that can come in and do exactly what you just said there: win 15 games, play 30 games. We need that. We need that to happen. Enough of these guys. One of the reasons I did the video was to show look who the guys that we've had as backups. Nobody special. We need somebody better than that. Charlie Lindgren is the goalie that can win games easy. I know. Well, okay, but I don't agree with that. But you got to explain to me what is it that makes you say that? Like, what have you seen in his game or in his performances that make you say that he's the guy that's the right guy for the backup? Because honestly, I have not seen. I've seen flashes of stuff that I'd say, yeah, this kid could be good. I've seen flashes. I've seen nothing of any length of time from him to say he's the guy I would like to see. The only thing I could say is that could make a difference this season for him is he's entering his prime. Sometimes the guy is entering their prime, they play a little better. Now he's a goalie. He could still do that for the next couple of seasons, yes. But up to now, I've seen nothing from the guy. Nothing. But flashes in a game, and then his game breaks down. And then the next game he looks good for a bit, and then his game breaks down, and then he'll have a really good game and he'll win, and then that's it. But it's nothing good enough. Okay, I'm getting my criticism over here. This is from Jeff. It was good, but Murray isn't going to be happy playing 30 games. No, I'll give you that, and that's why I kind of said that's kind of why. I'm not saying it's Murray, but we need a guy of that caliber, a guy that you can, Halak. Halak would have been perfect. Halak knows he's not going to be the starter anymore. Halak is perfectly happy to come and play 30 games. And Halak is going to give you a solid performance for those games. And that's why I was so disappointed that Boston re-signed him so quickly. Okay, now Jeff is going to show that what I said is true. He'd trade anybody. And he would. He doesn't have any untouchables. I'd trade Price for Murray and then get Hall and Foley with the money you save. Yeah, and it's not a bad. It's really not a bad option, because the truth of the matter is, and as much as I love Carey Price, and if Carey Price would possibly be watching my video, I love Carey Price, but the truth of the matter is you don't need a goalie of Price's quality to win a Stanley Cup. You don't. You don't. And Murray's won 2 Stanley Cups, and he's not as good as Carey Price was. So that is the truth. This is another reason why I kind of say, because I know you want them to possibly take Askarov. And, if you think Askarov's going to be that kind of goalie, but, maybe that's not the direction we go in, relying only on the goalie. Maybe we build a team, and the goalie isn't the most important part when Price is done. You know what I mean? Because you don't need a Carey Price to win a Stanley Cup. You don't. If your team's not good enough, then you need a Carey Price who can pull your team along for the ride. But yeah. And by the way, if you read there, Jeff says, I love Price more than anyone, and that's the truth. He does love Price. He does love Price as much or more than anybody. But he's actually being pretty realistic in that we don't really need to have a goalie of that quality here, or any team needs a goalie of that quality. So, especially now when money is going to be really tight over the next couple of seasons, that, it kind of makes sense that you save some money on your goaltender. Trading Price gets you an extra player that you can afford. And that's the truth. Do I think they're going to do it? No. And believe me, I love Price just as much. I love Carey Price. I don't want to see him go, but it makes a lot of sense. Mark Raffinen, I don't know if Price is overrated, though. I don't think that's fair. Is Price as good as he's ever been? No, he's 32. And sure, he's going to be starting to have a drop-off to some extent. There's without a doubt. Is he still capable, though, of stealing a playoff series? Yes. A whole playoffs? Maybe. I don't know, but maybe. I mean, any hot goalie is. But I don't think that's fair to say that he's overrated. So I'm going to say, and you might not be a true Habs fan, or you could be from another fan base, and that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to like Price. Nobody does. But I don't think he's overrated. I really don't. Okay, so we're getting out of comments, and I'm tired. I'm tired, and I'm so bloody hot in this. I should not have worn this tonight. Price is the best in the league, but the young guys are catching up. I don't know if it's fair to say he is the best in the league, but he's right up there. And yes, the younger guys are catching up. Funtime Flygon. I'm a Lindgren fan, but he had a setback last year. Let's face it, Kane Primo is the next in waiting. Yes, without a doubt. Unfortunately, that can get into someone's head at the pro level. Not saying it's Lindgren's issue. Listen, I don't dislike Lindgren. I don't want to see Lindgren not do well. I'm just saying that in the time that Lindgren has had, he hasn't taken the horse by the reins and shown us that he's the guy. And he just hasn't done it. And I don't see that happening at this point. I really don't. And it's not to say he couldn't do it at another team. It's not to say that he couldn't be successful somewhere else, but I don't think he's going to ever do it here. And now, well, listen, Primo, unless he gets traded, Primo is the future in net right now. It's not Lindgren anymore. If it ever was, I don't know if it ever was because he hasn't really shown that. Okay, so we're at the hour. I'm getting really tired. Oh, well, wait, another one's coming. And here comes another question. If the play-in round can't be completed, the 8 play-in teams will have equal odds of winning the lottery. It's not known what's going to happen if the play-in round it doesn't get completed. It's not known what they're going to do really 100% with the draft lottery. They may have to totally redraw all 3 lottery picks with all 31 teams in the running. So it's not known. Like 2005, when they strike or lockout ruined the season, they had to do that, and so it's not known. When they're going to face that if it happens and they can't get the season finished and the playoffs in, I guess they're going to decide what to do, but it's not going to be how it is now. So something else will take the place of what went on. I think they're going to redraw and redo this over again for like in 2005. Every team will have a shot. Lindgren is 26. Primo is 20. Primo has taken over Laval. Time for Charlie to be traded, unfortunately. But best for him. I honestly, I agree with you that probably the best thing for Lindgren is to be traded to another team. Yes. My thing with Price, almost all the goalies his age are falling off, so the chances are he will. He could be hidden more on a better team like Pittsburgh. Yeah, I mean, this could be, and he could have a better chance maybe of winning a cup because of that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. Listen, maybe he's that goalie that he might have a couple of off seasons, and then all of a sudden he has gets reborn a little bit, and could go and play 3, 4, 5 really awesome seasons, and then retire. It's hard to say, especially with goalies. So yeah, it's hard to say. It's one of those tough decisions that has to be faced eventually. But I don't think Montreal is going to do it. I think they signed him to the long-term deal, and they're going to keep him for that amount of time, unless he wants out. That's what I think. Okay, so before I'm really falling off here. Speaking of falling off, I'm falling off. We'll do the extra half hour next week for sure. Oh, no. Okay, I thought I saw a new one. So listen, everybody, thanks for being in here. You can tell I'm falling off. I'm getting tired as we speak. Everybody, thanks for being here. Thanks everybody who was in the room and in and out. I know people are in and out. I really appreciate it. We'll see you next Saturday for once again. And if you want to be part of the membership, members only, got to take a membership. And then we do a live stream. It seems like Wednesdays for members only. And hopefully I'll see you there. So thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for watching my videos. Thanks for the support. Would have no reason to be doing this if it wasn't for the support that you guys give me, because otherwise I'm just banging my head on the desk, which I do sometimes, but not for the same reasons. So I'll see you next video. See you next live stream. Have a great rest of the night, everybody, and a great rest of the weekend. And peace out, y'all.